Left belly up. Teddy was about to meet J.J. McCracken, and he was talking to Doc about the Jaguars at the gala for the Carnivore Canyon. And there you can see my little setup for portfolios and Bojangles there, listening away. Let's see. Doc turned and saw us. I think he was torn between frowning at me and smiling at my mother. Summer's presence put the smile over the top. "Evening, ladies," Doc said, graciously. Then he left us alone. I noticed he didn't hurry out of the exhibit, though. He seemed as disdainful of the party as J.J., and only wandered a little farther down the walkway before stopping to watch some ocelots. J.J. was far more friendly to us, instantly turning up the charm. "There's my princess," he said, giving Summer a big hug that embarrassed her greatly. Then he turned to Mom and extended a hand. "Charlene, always a pleasure." "Likewise, J.J." Mom took J.J.'s hand. "The exhibit looks wonderful." "Doesn't it, though? I think the designers have truly outdone themselves on this one." J.J. gallantly kissed Mom's hand, then set his sights on me. "And you must be the famous Theodore Roosevelt Fitzroy. These two ladies have a heap of good things to say about you." Somehow, that single statement made both Summer and me blush. "It's nice to meet you, sir," I said, extending my hand to shake. J.J. pumped my arm with surprising strength, given his scrawny build. "No, the pleasure is all mine. I hear you and my daughter have been having quite a lot of adventures at this park." "That makes two of us," Mom said. "We heard you and Doc talking about the Jaguars," Summer said. "Are they really inbred?" J.J. studied his daughter for a moment, as though he didn't know whether to be pleased by her forwardness or annoyed by it. "I doubt it. I don't think these breeding facilities are nearly as poorly run as Doc suspects." "But what if they are? Will they have babies with 3 heads and stuff?" "No, and it's a moot point, because if our genetic testing indicates they're inbred, then we won't let them breed, period. Of course, that's all small potatoes compared to the problems you believe this park has, Theodore." J.J. suddenly swung toward me. "Summer has recounted the tales of your investigation with great enthusiasm. Obviously, the idea that Henry was murdered greatly concerns me. I know he wasn't precisely Prince Charming, but for someone to kill him, at my very own zoo, no less, well, it makes me mad as a cut snake." "Then perhaps you should use your influence to get the local police involved," Mom said. "Oh, I don't think there's any need for that. Our security team is fully capable of getting to the bottom of this, as well as making sure the story doesn't leak to the press," Mom added. J.J. gave her a friendly smile, but there seemed to be a little fire behind it. I don't think he was used to people standing up to him like that. "Well, yes. Maybe this seems ornery or blinkered to you, but imagine what a field day the press would have if they found out Henry was murdered. He'd be front-page news all over the world, children would be devastated, and we'd look like we're running a second-hand outfit here. Which might be exactly what the killer wants." "Why?" I asked. J.J. looked around cautiously, assessing how close the other guests were before answering. There was a small cluster of people nearby, so J.J. led us down toward the tigers. A well-made waterfall thundered into the canyon there, loud enough to drown out most voices. Below us, 4 tigers slunk through the grass at the bottom of the exhibit, waiting for their dinner. Carnivore Canyon was pioneering some new ground in keeping their animals mentally stimulated. In the past, zoos had simply thrown meat to their tigers, but after a generation or 2 of this, the cats would have no hunting instincts left, so zoos had begun to make the delivery of food less predictable, forcing the animals to work to find it by leaving it in different places every day and at different times. Now, Fun Jungle had gone a step further, creating a virtual hunt. Before food was delivered, the scents and sounds of various prey would be pumped into the exhibit via a series of tubes and speakers, leading the tigers on an ever-changing route through their exhibit before food was provided. It sounded a little corny to me, but it seemed to be working. The tigers below us were definitely exhibiting stalking behavior and seemed primed for attack. They were so impressive, even J.J. McCracken was a bit distracted by them. He needed a gentle nudge from Summer to remember where he was. Dad? The killers? Oh, yes, JJ said. When I first heard about the murder, I had a hunch who might be behind it. Now, I've had Buck and the security staff working on the case round the clock over the last 2 days, and what they've found has confirmed my fears. It's quite likely that Henry was murdered by saboteurs. Mom, Summer, and I were all surprised by this. Mom was the first to speak. Who? There's 2 possibilities. One is the Animal Liberation Front. Summer gasped sharply. Why would animal rights activists want to kill an animal? To make us look bad. The ALF has been against this park since the moment it was announced. To them, we're just a prison for animals. They ignore all the work we've done to create state-of-the-art habitats, all the excitement we create in young people, all the money we generate for research and conservation projects. I even invited representatives from the ALF to tour Fun Jungle with me to see everything we do to enhance the quality of life for our animals. But, of course, they refused. These people don't want to listen to reason. They think they're right and we're wrong, and they won't be happy until they've shut down every zoo, farm, and pet store in the USA. They're not sensible like the Sierra Club or ASPCA. They're a dangerous group of radicals. In fact, technically, they're terrorists, since they've destroyed private property. They blew up a meatpacking plant last year in Nebraska. I was surprised to hear this last fact. So was Summer. Mom appeared to have known about it. But if the AFL was trying to make a statement against Fun Jungle, wouldn't it be more in line with their morals to attack a building rather than an animal? She asked. You'd think so, wouldn't you? But consider Henry. He's not just an animal. He's a symbol, our mascot, the most famous animal in the world. Do you have any idea how much damage they've done by killing Henry right after the park's grand opening? Millions of dollars, maybe more. We've had thousands of families cancel their visits. I've got warehouses full of Henry merchandise I can't sell now. And our stock price took a nosedive. Blowing up a building wouldn't have had an impact like that. Plus, it would have been an obvious terrorist attack. The public would have instantly turned against them. Can you imagine anything more horrible than blowing up a zoo? No, but look at how Henry was killed. Subtly, quietly. Most vets wouldn't have even noticed it was a murder. Only someone as meticulous as Doc. The death makes us look like we dropped the ball. Gives us a black eye. Here we are, claiming to be the greatest zoo in the world with the highest quality animal care, and we can't even keep our own mascot alive. So, why can't you just say that Henry was killed? Summer wanted to know. That'd make whoever did it look bad, wouldn't it? Maybe. If we knew who'd done it, but we don't, yet. So right now, all we could do is go public and say that someone killed Henry. We can't prove it was the ALF yet. Maybe it was just some lone jerk who hated hippos. It's still a black eye for us. We made Henry famous and then failed to protect him. Plus, the whole event goes from being a natural occurrence in nature, old hippos die, to a sordid tabloid story, Henry Hippo murdered. But you said Buck had found some evidence that it was the ALF, I reminded him. No, he found evidence that it was sabotage. We don't know who's behind it yet. Buck's leaning toward the ALF, but there's also the chance this is corporate warfare. You mean another corporation killed Henry? Mom asked. Exactly. Do you know what a dent Fun Jungle has put in the business of other theme parks in this country? We've sucked away thousands of guests from them. Millions of dollars in profits. They're not happy about that. Still, Mom said incredulously, you don't honestly think a corporation would murder your mascot? JJ shrugged. Why not? Technically, it's not even murder. Henry's an animal. Legally, it's only destruction of property, and I know that's fair game in the corporate world. Again, look at the economic damage they've done. They couldn't have hit us any harder. The buildings might cost a lot, but they're insured. But Henry? Say what you will about the bucket of lard, but he was Fun Jungle to most people. The damage to our image, to our brand, has been irrevocable. It's as though I went down to Disneyland and assassinated Mickey Mouse. I was taken aback by all this. It all sounded crazy to me, which was compounded by the fact that JJ lit by the floodlights from the tiger exhibits below, looked a little maniacal as he spoke. But even more shocking was the fact that it kind of made sense. After all, humans had a history of behaving badly in order to make a buck. If a man could kill a rhino dollars its horn would bring him, what would stop a corporation from killing a hippopotamus when billions were at stake? Somewhere close to us, I heard the clank of metal banging on metal. The walkway trembled slightly, and then the tigers began to growl. It sounded as if the hunt was picking up. "What was the evidence Buck found?" I asked. J.J. smiled at me, as though pleased. "I thought you might not ask. Unfortunately, I can't tell you for fear of jeopardizing the investigation." I frowned, and Summers started to complain, but J.J. cut her off and spoke to me. "I know it's not cool. After all, there wouldn't even be an investigation if not for you, Theodore, and for that I am greatly indebted. That's why I wanted this time with you, so I could talk to you man to man and express my gratitude in person. You're a good kid. You're smart and you've got guts. I know you're not going to like leaving this case to someone else, but I also know you'll understand why it has to be that way. Buck has this under control. He'll find whoever killed Henry. He just needs some time to do it. So all I ask of you in the meantime is patience. Sit back and trust Buck to do his job. Can you do that for me?" I had to admit, J.J. understood me awfully well. He grasped exactly what I was going through. I wasn't happy to step aside, but I appreciated J.J. taking the time to explain everything to me like I was a grown-up. I could see why he was such a good deal-maker. It was hard not to like him. "Yes," I said, "I can do that. Like I said, smart." J.J. patted me on the shoulder happily. "Now, don't think you're totally out of the loop, son. If you have any more thoughts on this case, you let me know. Call my office. I'll be on with you as fast as I can. But as far as the investigation's concerned, I need you on the sidelines. It's beginning to look like there's some really dirty people involved here. It could get dangerous." There was a soft thump on the walkway, not far behind me. "It just did," Mom said. She was looking past us, fear in her eyes. Beside her, Summer had the exact same look. There was a low, guttural growl from behind her. I spun around. A pair of bright orange eyes leered at us from down the walkway. One of the tigers was out, and it was still on the hunt.